My name's Jimi Katsis and I'm an accredited psychotherapist and a practitioner of DBT. I've successfully worked with a number of people over the years struggling with borderline personality disorder and extremes of anxiety and depression using DBT as one of my modalities. So to kind of get a little bit of background on DBT, a really quick background, DBT therapy was created by someone called Dr. Marcia Linehan as a response to the struggles people were experiencing with borderline personality disorder and suicidal ideation. And as a psychology researcher, she felt that something more was needed, that was a better treatment fit to help and support people experiencing these really quite distressing issues. So the process of DBT works best in two parts. First of all, you would see a therapist like myself who's a DBT specialist or a therapist with DBT as a specialism. And they'll see you generally each week for usually an hour, sort of standard sort of treatment timing. But as well as that, you're generally attached to a DBT group and you would meet for a couple of hours each week to discuss your process and the outcomes. So the group element is really quite important as that's where you really get into the nitty-gritty of this systemized and structured treatment. So there are four real sort of main components of dialectical behaviour therapy, and these kind of include learning about mindfulness, emotional regulation, distress tolerance, and interpersonal effectiveness. So what do these all mean? And sometimes it's quite difficult when we talk in these terms, but we're going to take a real short look at what each of those areas kind of mean. So the first sort of skill of DBT teaches is really mindfulness, and you may have heard it, and for some it seems a little spiritual, and even some a little bit off-putting, but it's really rooted in the basic principle about learning how to be in the moment. Not really stressing about what might happen next week or month or carrying the weight of the past, but really about tuning into the moment you're experiencing right now. That's not to say we don't pay any attention to the past or the future, but it really is about tuning in to our five senses, how we breathe, how we experience taste, touch, smells, hopefully pleasant ones. Really what it feels like to become aware of all our bodily functions in the world that exists around us. The second skill that DBT teaches is emotion regulation. And there's a couple of different aspects of this, but essentially it's the idea of learning to be comfortable with and accepting of your emotions. And then learning really how to manage difficult emotions so that they don't kind of end up controlling you, but that you have the ability to choose how to react in any given situation. So not to kind of overreact, but control the reaction. And we learn really how to accept what we feel, accept that we can't really change it, but that perhaps there is a better, more helpful way that we can respond. The third component of DBT is distress tolerance. And it's based around the idea of distraction rather than avoidance. So when the situation seems unbearable and intolerable, what are some things that we can do to manage our behaviours so that we don't do something impulsive or risky that ends up having negative consequences for sort of down the line. And the final component of DBT is what's called interpersonal effectiveness. And this is the idea that through learning how to be able to communicate in healthy, respectful ways with others, so we can assert ourselves without aggression, so that we develop really good and healthy boundaries. We can then have more really stable relationships with others and begin to build trust. The interpersonal effectiveness really gives the skills to start having better relationships with others, and more kind of rounded. So I hope you've come to have an idea in this really short presentation about what DBT is about. And you're one step closer really to getting the help and support you need in order to feel better. And I hope you'll come back and see us for more. So for now, thanks for watching. We'll see you again soon. Bye for now.